What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible reaction. We're jumping into something. The next one on our It's Complicated journey. Legally superior rules of modern dating and understanding women. Let's find out what kind of crazy ass good questions they ask this time. Sometimes they ask questions that you really have to stop and think. It's not just like I can answer this on the spot type question, and people are always shocked. I don't know how many times they're gonna say that was a good question in this one, but let's jump in. Let's check it out together. It's coming out from Andrew. Much love, my friend. Get over, show the It's Complicated channel all the love in the world. Let's do it.
Why are men more focused on self-improvement than men's rights?
You can't go around talking about men's rights. I mean, it's like, it's bad for business.
It's bad for business.
Can you be more specific? What do you mean it's bad for business?
Like men's right, like it's assumed that men already have all the rights. I think in Vegas in particular, women have a lot of maybe unfair advantages, particularly with the nightlife and getting free stuff, and men can't get in certain places, have all women's tables, that type of thing. But you're not going to go around talking about men's rights because it's a bad look, right? It's all about women's rights, and like nobody's going to take your side.
He's a smart man.
It's just you're pushing a boulder uphill at that point.
I mean, isn't that even more of a reason to talk about
it? Yeah, you could. I'm not good. I'm not going to fight that fight. You got to pick and choose your battles, dude.
It was a good answer.
Can you name any laws in our society that cater exclusively to men or women?
Conscription.
Abortion laws.
There's lots of laws for men. I don't know what they are, but...
I know the divorce laws mostly cater to women for sure. She can marry you and leave you the same day and take half the stuff. That's not fair. That's not really cool at all.
How do nightclubs get away with charging men a higher admission fee than women? Isn't that sexist?
I mean, yeah, but do I like it? Sure. Because it's the only time women rule.
Men have to pay like $40 to get in, and the woman's free. So that I would say, that's sexist.
Of course it is, yeah, but
all the men are going to say yes.
If private companies can get away with that type of sexism, why can't they get away with a gender pay gap?
Oh, gender pay gap. I don't know if there's a gender pay gap, though. I mean, I guess you could say that maybe beautiful women get a position because they're beautiful and gorgeous, and a man probably has to, work harder to make his money, but I don't know if there's a necessarily a gender gap in that regard.
The Equal Pay Act of 1963 makes it illegal to discriminate pay based on gender. Why aren't women filing class action lawsuits against companies they believe don't pay them equally?
I'm really not sure, but if they really feel that way, they ought to go for it. They ought to chase it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. For some reason, they don't do it.
Maybe they feel that they can't win it because the companies are bigger than the law firm they may find. I don't know. Maybe it's too much money to sue them.
Don't people sue for discrimination all the time?
I believe they do, but...
especially in America.
How can I put it? It seems like something like when it comes to money or going against a company and things like that, I think people tend to cower a little bit. They just kind of take what's going on. You get what I mean? They just kind of take it laying down and stuff like that. That's what people just tend to do. It's like how the prices of everything is just hiking and hiking and hiking, and nobody's coming together saying, hey, we got to fight this shit. Like, let's boycott Walmart, Target, etc., until they lower those prices, doing things that hit these companies directly in the wallet.
Why is there a prison sentencing disparity between men and women for the exact same crime?
Testosterone. And men are supposedly more in control, I guess, of themselves. Men, we give women the excuse of, oh, her emotions got the best of her, shit like that. Men don't get that excuse.
Why are men automatically seen as the aggressors in domestic
Interesting.
Disputes? That's a good question. Honestly, I think it's because women...
That's a good question.
...are more dramatic, even though they cause it half of the time. I don't want to say all the time because there are women out there that, do go through that for no reason. But most of the time, women use that as their advantage to, get what they want and be malicious.
Let's address reproductive rights. If a woman should have the right...
It's a brilliant thing to see people, just regular, everyday people, throw in what they think out there. It's cool to see how many people think differently, how people of different genders think differently. The whole thing is very, very cool to me. I think this is all talking topics, things that we can all discuss like grown-ass adults, things that we can figure out the problem to if we would all just get together.
They want and be malicious.
Let's address reproductive rights. If a woman should have the right to opt out of motherhood and make that choice, should a man also have the right to opt out of fatherhood and 18 years of child support?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you shoot the gun and you don't protect yourself, you're going to be paying for 18 years of child support.
That's just how
I believe if they were married, they consented to that, but if they weren't married, then I think they do have the right to opt out of that.
What reproductive rights do men have?
As far as I know, zero. But do you know why they make men pay child support? Because $1 out of $3 goes to the judge's retirement fund. Fact, look it up.
Should women be required to provide receipts for everything they buy in child support?
We're going to do some
Absolutely, because
research.
there's women out there buying Louis bags instead of baby formula.
It's funny that we're right in front of Louis.
I know,
the Louis
right?
store.
Okay, yes, I didn't even realize it. That's funny.
Why is child support based off income? Doesn't this incentivize predatory women to look for rich men?
Of course it does.
One word, Drake.
There's no reason he should be giving away half his check and more than that and stuff like that. It really should just be enough to take care of a child. That's the whole point of child support. Supporting a child. Can they get clothes and food and etc.? That's the whole point.
Why is it if a woman can't pay for her baby, she gets government assistance, but if a man can't pay for his baby, he goes to jail?
Because the woman had to have the whole baby out of her. We both made the decision to have sex. Why shouldn't we both take care of it? Or if she wants to keep it, then I guess that is her problem. But if they both agreed and then you want to dump after, I think you deserve the child support.
As far as I know, I think that if a man doesn't have a job, then he can't be on child support. They only can take away some of what you have, so he can't afford it. He just chooses not to pay it. Then that's when you go to jail, right?
Men should get some assistance too. Now, don't get me wrong. As a man, we should be able to provide and things like that. But things happen out of people's control sometimes. So yes, a man should be able to. I agree.
Man is the one who abandons, the household. That's what the numbers say. So in majority of cases, it's the woman taking care of the kids.
Why is it when a father abandons his child, they call him a deadbeat dad, but when a woman aborts her child, they call it her choice?
Because it is her choice. It's her body. And if the guy leaves after the baby is born, why didn't you leave before? You should have left before. That's all I got to say. Should have never fucked her.
I don't know, deadbeat dad's got a good ring to it, but it doesn't seem fair.
If a father leaves before the fetus is fully developed, would he still be a deadbeat?
My opinion, no.
I don't believe that a man is a deadbeat. I think a man should have a choice whether he wants to raise a baby or not. And if we actually did some DNA tests on these children, I would say about half the people in this country are raising somebody else's child, in my opinion.
Why is it considered a life
So
when holding
that's
the
an
man
interesting
accountable,
opinion.
but it's not a life when holding the woman accountable?
It would be intriguing to know the answer
I don't like
to.
that discrepancy, but I could definitely imagine scenarios where, I mean, if you like I said, if you make the mistake of having a child when you're not ready to, man or woman, you should be held to the same accord.
If we live in such a patriarchal society, where did all these laws come from that protect women and punish men?
It's a fucking delusion, bro. There's no patriarchy at all anymore. The father, thanks to things like Family Guy and The Simpsons, the father is seen as nothing but a fat, bumbling idiot who drinks beer and watches football, and that's all he's good for is just being a wallet.
If men have always been in power,
Another
why would there be a law that you can
answer.
only have one wife?
Oh, I think that's based on Christianity. That's going to be the U.S., any Christian-based country.
If two drunk people meet and have drunk sex, how do you know who took advantage of who if neither one could offer responsible consent?
You don't know who took advantage of who.
So then who's typically blamed in that situation, the man or the woman?
Typically the man.
Because the perception is that the man is the one going after the woman when she's drunk. At least that's what society wants
There's
to portray.
definitely some misperceptions.
Why are women typically held accountable when they drive drunk, but not when they have drunk sex?
They believe that women can't be predatory, I guess. I don't know.
For some reason, they think women don't have as much control over their emotions or their decisions. They kind of get a free pass in that stance, in that state.
Why are women seen as victims when they aren't, while men aren't seen as victims when they are?
Because we got some shit to fix.
I don't know,
Because there's a lot of male victims of a lot of different things.
Stronger, and maybe that has a play into it in people's minds. I'm not really sure.
A man is 90% of the time gonna outpower a woman physically. So the perception is that, hey, look, you know, we're gonna feel more sorry for the woman who's getting taken advantage of than a man, because a man can get himself physically out of danger. As far as, like, you know, looking at a man versus a woman.
When men are seen as victims or when they're not seen as victims, that's going to be, in my opinion, how they conduct themselves. Because you can be taken advantage of if you're unaware of a situation, but if you're unaware in the situation multiple times, then that's your fault for not learning.
How does being masculine help men who are screwed over by the family court system?
Ultimately, it doesn't, but at the very least, hopefully you can come up with a plan to help yourself. But of course, the more money you make, the more that goes to her, unfortunately. So there's really no way out of that hole.
How does being masculine help men who are falsely accused?
Not in the least bit.
Whether a man is masculine or not, doesn't he still deserve equal justice?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why are we still pushing for traditional gender roles and marriage without first changing the laws? Have you seen the divorce rates?
Yeah, I think marriage is kind of scam. Like, why would you want to bring
It's
the
become
government
kind of
as
like a
third
scam.
party into your relationship? I mean, if you had a best friendship with a guy, now you're contractually obligated to be together.
The divorce rates are extremely high, and it doesn't make sense to do it that way at all. It makes zero sense whatsoever. If we're going to push for a traditional marriage and all that other stuff, then we kind of need to go back to the old ways of the law.
Maybe the divorce rates are because there's no traditional rules anymore. People like to do whatever they want, and it doesn't work like that.
That's a good answer.
Why do so many women complain that men don't show their emotions?
Because they don't show their emotions a lot of the time. You have to guess what they're feeling, what they want from you, and
That depends
what
on the
they
man.
want in their life. They're not all that upfront and honest all the time.
I think women want men to show their emotions because, I mean, they're human and they have emotions. Like, it's a very normal thing, but society makes it seem super crazy for a man to talk about anything that shows, like,
It's
how they
okay
feel, which is
to
just
be
so wrong.
emotional.
Please talk about your emotions.
In reality, they're not actually looking for a man to show his emotion. So it kind of goes like they're double talking when it comes to that, I believe, in my opinion.
I think the women's feelings are always like looked at as like more important.
If men say they want to talk about men's rights, how many women are willing to hear that?
0.
So can we conclude that women don't care about men's feelings?
Yeah. I think we've been hearing it forever.
What do you mean?
I mean, the rights are all about men.
They feel like they've been stepped on, and what they got going on has been stepped on, that who cares about men's rights, right?
So can we conclude that women don't care about men's feelings?
No, they don't. They don't. Women do not care about men's feelings. Women are very much don't. They're much more savage than men. They'll actually destroy a man's emotion and his feelings without even feeling any type of sorrow for him whatsoever. So no, they don't care about our emotions.
When men complain about their feelings, not too many people take them seriously, and when women complain about their feelings, people do. So I think that's why there's more feminists than meninists.
Why do men get so much resistance from other men when talking about men's rights?
Oh, that's simple. That's just straight up. They think if they act like male feminists, they'll get laid. That's simple as that.
Can women ever be held accountable?
Yeah, totally.
How do you hold someone accountable that is legally superior to half of the population?
Case by case.
Case
How do you
by
hold someone
case.
accountable
That's the
that
only
has the
way.
force of the government behind them?
Oh, you
don't?
Have you tried to change the law? Yeah, sorry. It seems like it's
impossible. Say it.
It's never going to change. You have to just, again, act the way you'd like to act, and then treat people the way you'd like to be treated.
How do you hold someone accountable that isn't about to let go of all that power?
Oh, no. Power is never given up. Once you're giving it away, it's never coming back.
There's women who don't have power because of the way that they look, and there's women who have more power than the rest because of the way that they look. Depending on how they act,
Which says
I
something
imagine nobody
horrible
wants to give up
about
power once they have it.
our psyches.
When men were in charge, didn't they still make laws to protect women?
Yes.
If we lived in a matriarchy, would women make laws to protect men?
No, if you look at what's going on now, we're far from protected. We're the least protected.
I think if they have empathy, they would. They'd make laws equally.
Certain women would.
Same pay rate, I would say.
The majority,
Same
probably
opportunities.
not.
Same responsibilities in a household.
Why aren't feminists fighting for those laws right now?
Because it doesn't serve them.
What would those laws be?
I imagine anytime somebody is wronged and there is either a financial or a physical repercussion.
If feminism is about equality, why isn't there equal representation of both men and women's issues?
Because it's not about equality, it's about superiority on every single way, shape, and form.
I think they're focusing on the wrong things. They're focusing on making as much noise as possible and ending up in a dark spot, kind of like we're seeing with the woke movement right now.
For so long, it was all about the men, and we needed it to be about women. So I think we're just in the era where it's like, let's love and respect the women and give them a little bit of a voice.
I think the squeaky wheel gets the grease every scenario. Every time I see a short or anything, it's always the most outlandish, ostentatious thing. It has to grab people's attention, and then you realize you're pushing too far. There's no way to actually make an impact if you only take a little bit at a time. They're trying to take everything they can, and then they'll make the corrections later.
Why aren't you able to talk about the needs and wants of men?
These interviews are always so damn intriguing.
I think because women are very sensitive when it comes to putting men above them.
It's selfish women running.
I want to buy all of the
interviewees only
interviewees a
think
drink.
about themselves.
I gotta go to Vegas.
And it's a lot of man hatred and things like that go into it. So why would they think about our needs if they fucking hate us? Because that's what feminism really is. It's destroying the home.
The man hating women club.
Women are being ruined by that shit. It's destroying young boys and everything like that, who then grow into men who can't do shit for themselves and don't want to try shit for themselves because they think it's patriarchy if they go after their own dreams and shit like that.
There were some fantastic answers in there. Obviously, we're all going to be differing opinions. It doesn't mean that we can't always find some common ground and get along. Definitely get over and show the It's Complicated channel for bringing up those complicated ass questions. Lots of great questions on the questionnaires end. Smash the like button if you liked it, the dislike button, but I won't believe you. Shout out again to Andrew for the request. Tell the next one about the Combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe, but it'll be to the moon and back. Peace.